Wait, is it good?
Yeah, buddy. That's number 2, folks. That's number 2. So vote for your favorite. We're just gonna keep doing this until somebody stops me. Honestly, is so
Wait.
you guys are just, if you're not voting below on the comments for what you like the best, you are making this continue. So this is your fault. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Wait. So what was the first one?
The
And
first one was
what up? What up?
what up, what up? That's right.
Yeah.
So this one we've got yeah, buddy. That's right.
Okay. I like the year, buddy. I like the year, buddy.
We'll just have like a compilation one day. It'll just be like 5 minutes long of like all of the stupid intros. So
All right, guys, we have 22 questions today for Patreon questions. So, wow. I want to, maybe I should stop promoting our Patreon account. If you would like us to answer your questions, you could become a patron, link in the description below. Today, I don't know how are we going to go through all these questions, but we're going to try. I am Asian American. I'm punishing you by not including one of your questions because it was literally 3 paragraphs. I don't know why I keep asking you to shorten your questions when you guys are not listening. I feel like the questions are getting longer and longer. Guys, please keep your questions short.
was that the one about like the circadian rhythm and the
I didn't
sleeping
even
and
read
thinking?
it. I
Oh
just
man,
saw an saw an essay. I'm like, I'm not even going to read the first line. What the
it was
hell?
interesting, and there are some interesting thoughts on that. But also, yeah, I mean, it's a block of text that would take up the whole.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I'm just not gonna include them anymore if they're that long. Okay. Speaking of Asian American, here's the first question from Asian American. But again, guys, if you want us to answer your question, link in the description. You could become a patron, even if it takes I don't know, half a day to answer them. We're gonna have to be here. I'm gonna. No, I'm kidding. No. So no, don't run away. Like, oh, by the way, Secular Rarity. I know you're being very generous with your time. So, guys, I forgot to promote Secular Rarity. You just come to here. I'm like, what the hell, Armin? I'm gonna put a link to everything Secular Rarity related, his Facebook, Twitter, and everything in the live chat. If you guys want to go follow him or contact him or invite him to your show, also link is in the description as well. There's a link tree to all his accounts. Anyways, so there's that.
Thank you.
From now on, it will always be in the description as well. So if you guys want to check him out. All right, cool. So let me go to the first question. Asian American is asking, when is it okay to water the tree of liberty with the blood of patriots and tyrants? Wow, YouTube, we do not endorse. We are very much against violence on this show. Okay, very much. Okay, community guidelines and all. Can anyone judge that this amount of blood was worth the increase in political freedom? What do you think?
That's one of those weird utilitarian calculations that, kind of can't be assessed until we're after the fact, right? I mean, you've talked about like the French Revolution, right? French Revolution definitely, let's say, watered a lot of trees, but ultimately, 100, 200 years, there was a lot of really good things that came from it. Does that mean that I'm really ever going to be in favor of like killing people? No, probably not. There's probably not going to be a time that's high on my list of best outcomes, I guess. But yeah, I mean, there is
But here,
revolution. Yeah, go ahead.
like the French Revolution would not have did not become successful eventually because of the
Oh, true. Yeah.
reverse, right? So as good as eventually it ended up pretty good for Europe and the whole world, but it could have been better without the bloodshed, in my
Totally agree.
opinion.
And I
Yeah.
I fully accept. I mean, I'm on of the stance that it would have been better had there not been the bloodshed.
Yes.
Again, how do we don't have a damn
We don't
time
know.
machine, so we
Yeah.
can't go back in time and like actually play it out both ways. But yeah, I think pretty much always if it's like, hey, we do revolution where we just kill like everyone or like most people versus like, hey, we do a revolution but we like really don't kill anybody. I go for the second one. So
Yeah.
that's me.
Also, like this is an impossible utilitarian calculation, right? So, and I think like, given that how difficult it is for individual cases, imagine how difficult it is for you to come up with a general rule.
Yeah.
right? So I think you have to assess one by one, and even then it's almost next to impossible. I mean, we're literally doing this calculation right now in Iran,
Yeah.
right? On a Persian show. Okay, don't tell. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say, I should say, but like this is actually the kind of discussion that we're having in the protests in Iran right now about what kind of revolution do we want, and how much blood is, how much violence can be justified as defensive, and how much of it is going too far, and how much of it is worth it for freeing Iran. This is and it's a very complicated discussion. Okay, and a lot of passion, and a lot of people are angry. So sometimes you're trying to have a logical discussion about this, but so many people have lost loved ones because of the regime,
And are
and there was
understandably upset.
so that calculation just goes out the window when somebody comes and says, like, my child has been killed by this monsters. I'm like, okay, how I cannot continue this argument with somebody that has
you come up with a logical syllogism in that moment, and then tell me how it goes.
I'm like, okay, I'm like, to you, madam. Like, I don't know what to say anymore. But yeah, anyways. Oh, by the way, somebody something I don't remember is saying in the live chat, that she thinks that you will look good in heavy curls.
Thank you. I like that. I appreciate that. I'll contact my stylist and see if I can get it on my schedule. And then I'll do my photo shoot or something. Maybe start an OnlyFans or whatever. I'm sorry.
Wait, you don't have an OnlyFans?
Shh, Armin, you said you would be quiet about that.
Sorry. No shit. Yeah, okay. By the way, Skeptical Humanist, I haven't grayed out anything comment of yours. Like, just, I don't know if it's YouTube is automatically doing something. It's not us. I promise. Okay, I wouldn't do that to you. I don't. Okay.
We wouldn't treat you like that here.
We're nice. All right, next question. Wait, is this the same question? Yes, it is. Let me unstart this one. Go to the next one. Thoughts on Martin Mubarak burning Frida Kahlo painting to make an NFT. Should the government wrest artworks from people like him and preserve them for prosperity, or is this a valid form of art creation? So let me see what happened.
So I didn't see this. I didn't see this, and I didn't go investigate. I would say, though, real quickly, at the very least, I could argue on the last part, is this a valid form of art creation? I think that's a weird question, right? Because, like, what is art? Life imitates art, and art imitates life, and blah, blah. Like, anything is freaking art if people say it's art, basically. So, like, that's that means stuff like this sometimes happens, or somebody literally duct tapes a banana to a wall, and then 30 years later or so, somebody else duct tapes a banana to a wall, and they literally go to court over it. That's an actual court case that happened in the world.
What?
I'm not kidding.
You were making it up.
No, it's super real. Somebody as an artist duct tape a banana to a wall, and then years later somebody else did something very similar, and they went to court over it. So
amazing.
Yeah, as long as we allow artwork in private hands, which I'm not sure how we would get away from that. Like, all artwork just instantly goes into a museum once it's like 100 years old or something. But as long as artwork is allowed to be in private hands, I don't know that there's really anything that we can do, right?
Well, I mean, Mexican government disagrees. They're trying to do something. So this is what actually happened. Did Miami art collector burn a Frida Kahlo drawing to make NFTs? Mexico wants answers. Okay, so what happened was, well, my God, I don't need. Okay, just tell me what happened. What is it?
The mariachi band was playing. We don't need to.
So it says the drinks were flowing, the mariachi band was playing, the crowd was cheering. A $10 million Frida Kahlo drawing was burning. This was the scene at a July 30th private event at Miami mansion hosted by Martin Mubarak, a Mexican art collector and crypto businessman who has lived in South Florida. How is art? Why do you need, for minting an NFT, why do you need to burn the art? I don't know. I mean, I
think
minted NFTs. I didn't burn anything.
I think the NFT was an image of the art burning. I think that's what.
Oh, like
And
this?
yeah, I think that's
That's
what
NFT.
that was the something along those lines is what I'm assuming. Yeah, is
I
what
mean,
they
okay,
did.
I don't know if I want to read the rest of this, but if he owned the art, like what does he do? What did he do that is wrong?
Yeah, I mean that's I think where Gage American might be coming is from the historical context for the people of Mexico, which, you know, again, like I do understand that for sure and totally agree. And there is a lot of shady crap in the high-end collectibles industry worldwide for sure. There's Hobby Lobby a few years ago had to admit publicly and give back, you know, millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff that they stole. But this guy didn't steal this. It was sold, and he purchased it legally. And again, if we're going to allow art to exist in private hands, then this type of stuff is going to happen. Banksy shredded his own damn artwork after somebody sold it, so legally it wasn't even his at that point. The gavel had dropped. So you know, what are you going to do there? It's now it ultimately was more valuable because of that, but you know, as long as we allow artwork to be in private hands, stuff like this is definitely going to happen.
Okay, so says the video reached Mexico's National Institute of Fine Arts and Literature, which announced September 26th that it is investigating whether Mubarak committed a federal crime. Okay, so it is a crime.
It may be a crime in Mexico, but if he's not in Mexico, then who cares, right? It may be a crime for them because it may be like, for instance, I would imagine that burning the Betsy Ross original flag from the United States, that would be a problem. But I think the reason that would be a problem for us, that would be a federal crime, is because it actually is owned by the United States government. If this painting wasn't ever owned by the government of Mexico, I don't know what they could argue, unless they've just passed a law at some point that says you're not allowed to destroy anything that is
okay, no, here's the law. Okay, so it might be he might have like actually burned a fake, so we don't know if that was the original or not.
That's fair.
But it says in Mexico, the deliberate destruction. Okay, so INBAL officially designated Kahlo's body of work as an artistic monument in 1984. In Mexico, the deliberate destruction of an artistic monument constitutes a crime in terms of the federal law. Okay, so it might actually be illegal based on Mexico's laws.
It looks like it might be a crime in Mexico.
You know what's crazy? That would make it a more valuable NFT.
Yeah,
that's
probably
how the things work.
Yeah,
like if it was a crime.
yeah,
that's how these
probably.
things work.
I know.
Anyways, I mean, I don't know. Morally, I mean, I don't legally. Obviously, if it's legal, then if it's illegal, then it's illegal. That's Mexico decides that.
Right.
Morally, I don't know how to judge these things. I mean, if I had millions of dollars, I might get bored to the point that I have to do crazy things just to spice up life, right? I don't know.
Like burn a $10 million historical painting. Yeah, that means a lot to a whole people.
You don't know what being very, very rich does to your mind.
I've never had the option of being able to even like think about burning something that was $10 million. So like, yeah, I know it could be a totally different situation.
I heard life gets very boring to the point that you have to like come up with ways to make things, like weird ways of making things exciting.
Like, does that? So like that would. I don't want to like take us too far off, but like I guess if you have like that much money, you could burn a $10 million painting. Like you could probably like pay for like a helicopter to take your ass anywhere, anytime you wanted, right?
I mean,
like,
I probably
is that boring?
I probably would burn like something expensive if I was like that bored, and that life will become that meaningless.
Smash a $250,000 vase once or twice, maybe. Yeah, but I don't know. 10 million on a painting, that's a lot, man.
I don't know.
when Armin and I both have enough money to burn a $10 million piece of history and art, we will let you guys know how we
Wait, is there a $10 million Quran somewhere? I want to buy that.
There's bound to be, right? Like there's gotta be. Yeah, I mean.
Okay. All right, let me get to the next. Well, we're spending too much time on each
Oh
question. Like
God.
we have to. Yeah, you're right. We're not doing a good job. We have to move
All
forward.
right.
Okay. No, I mean, we have to spend some time on it. These people paid. We have to actually. Like, God damn it. Okay, I'm good. I'm kidding. We appreciate your support. How do you? Okay, here this one. Higgs boson is asking, how do you see the anti-lockdown protests in China against Winnie the Pooh amidst the upcoming CCP meeting? For people who don't know, Winnie the Pooh is Xi Jinping. But let me actually see what is so weird about, like, this is actually crazy. This is new. This is very new. It's new for China.
Is
Okay.
this yeah, the bridge. Yeah.
So yeah, we haven't seen, like, we've seen protests against the local governments recently because of the whole people's bank accounts being frozen and stuff, like they're not being able to withdraw cash and other, their values of their house dropping and everything. Okay, but people have been not protesting the central government. They have been protesting. I mean, even the recent protests have been unique. Okay, but we don't see usually protests in China. But even though they were unique, they were careful enough not to direct it at Xi Jinping or the central government. They were like, "Oh no, it's not the central government that is responsible for all this corruption and all. It's the local government and central government. Come, please help us against all these evil local governments." But now we're seeing something very unique and new in China. So it says, rare protests against China's Xi Jinping days before Communist Party Congress. A rare protest against Chinese leader Xi Jinping and his policies was swiftly ended in Beijing Thursday, just days before he is set to secure a third term in power at a key meeting of the ruling Communist Party. So this was on the bridge. This is very brave, by the way. I don't know what they do to you in China for doing something like this. Photos circulating on Twitter Thursday afternoon show two banners hung on an overpass of a major, what is this? Thoroughfare?
Is it just big road?
Big road in the northwest of the Chinese capital, protesting against Xi's unrelenting zero COVID policy and authoritarian rule. Okay, yeah. So wait, what's the question? Let's answer the question. I don't want to read the rest of this. How do you see the anti-lockdown protests in China against Winnie the Pooh amidst the upcoming CCP meeting?
I'm wondering if it was supposed to say, "Have you seen?" Like, have you seen them? As opposed to how did you see the anti-lockdown protests?
Yeah, like what's your view? I think it means what's
what
your
do you think
views
of
on
it?
it?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I like this stuff. I like when, because again, this isn't, nobody was hurt here. Nobody was, it wasn't like they blew up the bridge. It wasn't like they killed people or anything. It was that they did something that I think is a right for all people, is to be able to stand up and say your thoughts in a way that's peaceful and isn't actively calling for violence against others. That seems like what had happened, but maybe I don't know. Maybe I didn't hear the whole banner. So, but
yeah, could this be the beginning of a major uprising in China?
That's a really good question. I thought what was going on in Hong Kong was going to ultimately have larger ripple effects, and I have been bummed out that there has been such a crackdown from the CCP and Xi Jinping. So I don't know. I don't know on that one. I don't know that this is going to really spiral into something much larger and get some more change or anything. But anytime that I see stuff like this, especially in a country where doing this is not allowed, is not okay, not sanctioned, I'm always for that, because you should be able to criticize your government.
Yeah, I mean, China is going to have more financial problems going forward, right?
For sure.
So it's the government knows this. The government is trying to manage it properly so it comes slowly rather than a giant crash, right? But a lot of people are going to lose their entire life investment in China. I mean, the GDP is still going to go up, but there's going to be a lot of people that they have a lot of investment tied into real estate, and it's just going to go poof, right? I mean, it already has gone poof. They just don't know it yet, like a lot of them, right? So, and this is just if the beginning of it shows the first signs of protests against Xi Jinping. I just can't imagine, like, eventually when more bubbles, financial bubbles, burst in China, that might be the beginning of a lot of waves of other protests. I just don't know how China is going to deal with them. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the financial instability from Evergrande, wasn't it? Was that the company called?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but yeah, I mean the real estate. I think that is going to be a huge problem because one of the biggest things that has propped Xi up this whole time, right, with the CCP, was the fact that there was such progress under his rule financially for the average person. There was a lot of people in China that during, the last handful of years, the last 15, 20 some odd years, have seen a massive increase in their wealth. And their standard of living, and that is hugely working in Xi Jinping's favor. So yeah, a reversal of that and a financial crash. Yeah, I think that is definitely going to lead to more of this. How far that ends up spreading, that we'll have to wait and see, unfortunately. So
I just hope China is far away from Tiananmen Square kind of policies. Yeah, like
I hope
like
so, but I'm not exactly optimistic on it.
I am. I don't think, I think it's bad. I think it's going to be a crackdown. I just don't think it's going to be that bad.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to go back. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question. Okay. Higgs boson is asking, a lot of protesters in Iran were seen wearing masks. Many right-wingers say, what's the point of fighting one symbol of oppression, hijab, with, oh my gosh, idiot, right? with another symbol of oppression, mask.
A medical mask, by the way. Like they're talking, I don't think they're talking about like Halloween masks. If you want to be a Frankenstein's monster, they're good with that. But if you want to, help other people make sure that they're not medically at risk of dying or yourself, that's...
Is sunscreen also a symbol of oppression?
Yes. Okay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Armin. Yeah. You have the right to be burned alive by the sun if you so choose to, and nobody should tell you to do otherwise.
I guess the obvious answer is one of them is protecting you from an actual ill, and the other one is protecting you from an imaginary ill. Is that the like? Is that like? Do I need to say more?
It's actually, one of those. It's one of those questions where it's not even a false, like, it's not even like a false dichotomy. Like somebody says, like, what about this or this? And you're like, oh, those aren't mutually exclusive. We could actually do both. It's one of those questions where the first thing that they offer is sensical. And then the second thing that they offer is just like, or we could just like ride on a unicorn and just fly around space for a minute. And it's like, okay, but that one doesn't, that's nonsense. That doesn't make sense. Like, so yeah.
Also there might be, I don't know if these idiots have thought about this. Maybe I'm not getting this. Okay. But there might be some other reasons beyond COVID why people are wearing masks at a protest. Do you know what that might be?
In an authoritarian regime that is known for disappearing and or murdering its citizens. No, couldn't figure out a reason at all why you'd want to hide your face. Okay. Yeah, sorry. If anybody else can figure it out for us, please tell us.
God damn it, man. I mean, this is why I maybe I'm being too ableist when I say being right wing is a handicap. No offense to handicapped people. No. Actually, that would be offensive. I shouldn't say that. Yeah. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, here's another question. Gaging American is saying, in America, I was taught my nation was founded on religious freedom. In Germany, it is thought that Germans who wanted to practice religious extremism went to America. What do you think is closer to the truth? I mean, these don't contradict each other. But
they don't. But we don't have to think on this. We're actually pretty knowledgeable on the groups that came over initially. Like, for instance, and part of the big problem is that in America, there has been a twisting of our history. As you know, a lot of places do. We wanted to make ourselves sound a lot cooler than we were. So, like, for instance, if I remember correctly, the pilgrims weren't like fleeing religious oppression. What happened was like they were getting kind of shit on in England, and then they were like, "Ah, man, this sucks. Let's go over to the Netherlands." And they lived there for like a generation, and then we're like, "Ah, our kids are being raised Dutch. Anybody want to go to that just random spot of land that apparently we can claim called North America?" So yeah, like they actually left from a different place where they weren't actually being religiously persecuted in such a manner. And a lot of times we talk about the Puritans in the early United States being, you know, really hardcore and strict and like shitty in their religious beliefs. While that is 100% true, the Pilgrims were actually worse. So also the Mayflower was like a third Pilgrims and like a third like people that just didn't have anything else to do or like have in their lives. Like they didn't have family, didn't have like property or anything. And then the other third was like people actively trying to exploit the Americas for money. So yeah, the idea that like America was founded on religious freedom definitely is not the case. That's how we got some of the states in New England. So a couple of different states, I'm pretty sure New Hampshire was one of them, was created because there was a person in a religious community and was like, "I don't think you're doing God right." And then they were like, "Screw you, get out of our town." So they made another state. So that's not exactly religious freedom. So
Oh.
yeah, some interesting
Wow.
stuff for sure. But a lot of it gets hyped up and played up to a manner that makes America in those days sound a lot cooler than it was, when in reality it was some pretty hardcore religious zealots. So
Yeah. And a distraction from the fact that the country was founded upon genocide and all.
yeah. We're much more comfortable with talking about the religious stuff than the
Freedom, yeah.
genocide and continued subjugation of multiple groups of people. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Again, can't figure out why.
Yeah. All right. But no offense to Americans today. This has nothing to do with you.
I didn't do anything, but
yeah. Well, actually, no offense to Americans today is something that a lot of people don't say. I just realized that nobody cares about offending Americans. That's sad.
In fairness, though, we have been kind of dicks for a while. So it's like on a world stage, I understand why some people would want. I know I personally didn't do anything.
I mean, let's be fair. Which country hasn't been a dick? Okay, you just the more powerful
one. You know, there's got to be like one. Like
which name?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But there's got to be like one. That's like a super great country, has never done anything like terrible.
Any country that hasn't been a dick is because they were so pathetic and weak to be able to be a dick. Okay, so they just weren't able to. Okay, the United States is not uniquely a dick. It's just they're just powerful ones, so their dick just feels.
We're just the biggest dick.
Bigger.
Just the biggest dick.
The biggest one. Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll sleep well tonight knowing that.
Yeah. All right. D is saying, "I am really happy that Alex Jones received almost $1 billion fine," which he doesn't have. I don't know how he's going to pay that.
Oh, no, I think he's already declared bankruptcy. He's going to do the same legal bullshit maneuvering that a lot of people do, but
yeah. Where do you think the line should be for what constitutes a lawsuit and what doesn't, as far as free speech goes for lying and disinformation? Oh, that's a complicated question. Do you have any answers to that?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things with libel laws and slander laws and so forth, especially in like the United States and the UK, of course there are differences between them, but in the United States, for sure, if you can prove that somebody said something that they knew for a fact was false, then, you know, if there are repercussions that occur to that individual that has had that, false statement made about them, especially ones that are financially burdensome, then you lose. Like, that's it. Like, you just, because we can prove that you knew this was BS before you said it, and it did cause all this harm. So that's where that comes down, and that was shown in court. I would also so his lawyers actually ended up
take
sending all of his like phone records to the prosecution, and apparently like
yeah.
never once called him about it or something. It was so weird.
Mm.
It just yeah, I think he's just an idiot, and he just hired an idiot lawyer team. Maybe the guys that worked with Trump. But anyway, the in terms of like, what's too far with free speech and stuff, it's the point at which you're again, either we can show that you did lie. Like, for instance, we have a text message from you like 3 weeks ago that says, ha ha ha, I know this is so true, but I'm still going to say this anyway, and harass children and parents for years. And then you go do that. It's like, oh, well, we figured it out. But otherwise, I would just say, the same general stuff, which is like incitement to violence. If you're actively calling to go hurt people, then that's not free speech. Like, you don't get to do that.
Yeah. So there's criminal limitation and civil law limitations, right? So I think incitement to violence or fraud, or that would be criminal,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
saying something
libel and slander is probably civil.
Civil, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if I say something, like if you're selling some product and I knowingly say, go tell people that your product, I don't know, say something that causes, say a lie that it makes people not buy your product knowingly, then that I caused you damage, in financial damage, and
absolutely
in a civil court, you should be able to make me pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
or if there is emotional or physical damage of which can be shown in court to be of enough of a degree that it warrants, money and stuff. Like in a lot of cases where there are individuals that are wrongfully killed by the police, right? Families of the victim will end up getting some type of compensation, especially when it's something extremely egregious, like we've seen a lot of. They themselves weren't actually injured, right? They weren't beaten by the cops until they were killed, but obviously their family member, their loved one, their relation was, and so that takes an emotional toll to such a degree that we award financial compensation in court for stuff like that. So
D is adding, I mean, we are chock full of conspiracy theories and anti-vaxxers. Can they be sued? I think you need to be able to show the challenges that you have to show that they actually know they're lying.
It's a very high bar. Yeah, it's a very high bar. And it also has to be somebody that is of such a, so like, for instance, Heinz 57 ketchup is a product, right? It exists in the United States. I can't go out and make a huge company and try and sell another product of ketchup that is also called like Heinz 56. Like, I can't do that. That they would sue the crap out of me because of the financial damages, right? That they could end up incurring due to, a different product, confusing customers and so forth. But if I go create a label right now that says Heinz 56 and I slap it on a bottle of ketchup and then I do a YouTube show about it, well, that's where it starts to get a little bit gray. If I put out a podcast where I just say, nonsense about the earth being flat or something, then it's like, can we show that this person is genuine or lying? I don't know. And then B, what's the actual financial damage that's being incurred?
So if I say anti-vax stuff and people die because of it, as long as I believe it to be true, nobody can touch me?
So in that instance, the only way that you could be held liable for that, I would think, is, I'm not a legal expert, but I would assume, is if you can show the direct correlation, the direct causation between you saying those things and that person doing. So if you spout nonsense anti-vax garbage just to the world, right, out there, that's different than saying to a person directly, hey, Armin, this is the thing to do and you need to do it. In that instance, I think it's possible, but I don't know if
we're not.
Yeah. If it was something along the lines of like, hey, take this particular drug and that'll protect you, then probably we could show that we could find somebody liable for that criminally. But if what I say is, hey, like, I took this thing and it worked really well for me and other people should try it too, and then somebody does it because of that, that connection there is a little bit shakier, I think, and probably wouldn't hold up in court.
By the way, just to be clear, we're not financial. We're not legal experts.
Yeah.
So go
No.
check that. So don't. If we're wrong about this, please don't sue us.
Yeah.
We have no idea. We have no idea what we're talking about. Okay,
Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech.
Yes. Yeah. So just to be clear, like go check with a legal expert these things. Okay. But a rated R atheist is saying you are doing a great job. With 2 hearts. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's always good to hear other people say that. I mean, we know that's true, but it's good when other people recognize that too. So
okay. Higgs was saying it seems like you started the question. No, I will get to it. It's like I started halfway through, went to the bottom, and then I noticed that I didn't click on more comments. And I'm like, oh my god, there's so many questions, and then I went from the top.
There was a lot, Higgs.
Yeah,
and some of that was from you.
Yes. No, it's good. It's good. Yeah, so no, it goes from the middle to the bottom and then back to the top. Okay, so don't worry. Right. Okay, so I already answered this one. Next one. Gajun American saying indigenous lawyers Janice Makokis and Rachel Snow and Anita Cardinal refused to swear loyalty to King Charles the pen fusser.
Like he's fussy about pens. You seen that video?
The pen fusser. Yes, I saw it. Pen fusser. Should they be allowed to practice without an oath of loyalty, or should they be forcibly bent to the authority of the crown and his nuclear fire? Okay, sure. Oh my god.
I was commenting before the stream that Gajun American, you truly have a way with words, and I enjoy the crap out of it. But
yeah, okay. But I honestly, I would side with these ladies. I think I would not only should they not be forced to make. When I got my Canadian citizenship, I was forced to pledge loyalty to the goddamn queen.
Oh, really?
It was disgusting. I wanted to puke, but I literally could not have gotten my Canadian citizenship. It was like, it's so weird. Because I'm starting this is how you start your Canadian citizenship journey. With a lie. Everybody standing, like nobody there cares about the queen. Nobody, like what is loyal to the queen, pledging loyalty to the queen means? What are we supposed to do? Not a single person in Canada that pledges loyalty to the queen ever knows what it means to be loyal to the queen or cares about what the queen says or has done anything in their life to ever be in line with being loyal to the queen.
I think you're just supposed to watch parades. I think, honestly, that's just you have to watch all the parades that she does in your...
Okay, no, but like the people who are taking the oath know that. The people who are making us take the oath know that. And we're all like, I don't know, going like this or whatever and making an oath that we know it's a lie. Everybody. So I made an oath knowing that it's a lie. And that was required for my Canadian citizenship. What is this? What is this about? Am I going to lose my Canadian citizenship for saying this?
For saying that? I don't give a damn about the queen.
But now it's a king. Man. So wait.
So basically, it sounded like they and this is one of the issues where knowing the specifics of the UK law would be really helpful. It may be a part of the law that says, hey, if you are going to be a lawyer practicing in our country legally, then you do have to perform these particular acts. In the United States, for instance, of course, there are requirements. You have to pass certain, you have to be able to show that you're capable of passing certain metrics, right? You don't have to swear an oath of loyalty to the president or to the country or anything, but I think you have to say the Pledge of Allegiance when you become a citizen of the United States. I think you have to do that. We have to technically pledge allegiance to a flag in a country. So that's weird too.
Okay, that's also gross, but still, it's
less.
It's a country. Like you're like, okay,
it's more idea,
There's some values, and obviously, if I'm becoming a citizen of this country, I have to accept the values, or else what's the point of being a citizen? So that makes sense a little bit over there. but to a king or a queen, like this is like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
are we still playing Game of Thrones? Like, this is like, this should be like, we're the 21st century. Why do we even have queens and kings?
If
Like,
you want to say the oath, say the oath. If you don't give a shit about it, then don't. That would be my compromise, I guess.
No,
But
I would make it the, if it was up to me, I would make it the opposite. I would like,
ah,
anybody who pledges to any king or any queen loses their license immediately. Okay, you cannot be a practicing lawyer if you're loyal to any kings or queens. That's like ancient dark age stuff. This is the modern world. So
I could
please
see
grow up.
I could see a legal argument for that, stating that if you are pledging your loyalty to an individual person, then you're less likely to actually be impartial for your own client and fight for their best. I could see that. I don't know. Again, I don't know that would stand up in
Yeah,
court or
I will do that.
anything.
I
But
will make it.
yeah,
I will make it like, if you, even if you come from a foreign country and you, like, say you're a Saudi lawyer, I'm like, sorry, you can't practice law in Canada because you have pledged loyalty to your whatever king or whatever you have. In this country, we're anti-kings and anti-monarchy. Anybody who pledging loyalty to any backward or dark age stuff cannot practice law here. That would be the law that I would put in place.
right.
That's how anti-monarchy I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight you on it. I'm not gonna fight
No,
for
okay.
kings and queens. I've pledged no oath of loyalty. It's my
Good.
privilege as an
Yes.
American.
American, yeah. You guys were founded on being anti-monarchy, which is like
Suck
something,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. We were like, take this, king. We'll drop your tea in the ocean. Now what are you gonna do?
Oh my god, that's fantastic. All right, Oxymar is saying, don't you think Biden is expecting too much from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia when he isn't being very conducive towards fracking in his oil, in his oil in his own country? You
Fracking the
mean to?
U.S.'s oil, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. These are not mutually exclusive. You could, like,
Yeah.
I agree that, okay. So I would rather, as much as fracking is, I hate fracking. Okay, fracking bad. Okay, but if you don't have renewable energy yet, which you should, I think getting it from US would be better than getting it from Saudi Arabia. I don't know. What do you think, Secular Rarity?
Yeah, probably. Probably,
Yeah,
especially considering the amount of oil reserves the United States actually does have, right?
yeah.
Probably, but we like to keep those set aside in a bunker, like already extracted and refined and everything. We just keep it in a big bunker that the federal government owns just in case we need to move a lot of military. So,
Well, you are actually burning through it very fast right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know to release
So
some of that, because seriously, no joke, there are a lot of average Americans who vote for an entire political party with a whole platform and just thousands of different stances. They vote for people based on the price of gas at the time of the election, and that is just nonsense to me. But seriously, that is how much the price of gas matters, and we have the absolute lowest prices of anybody in the world. I think we're paying like $3.40 a gallon right now in my state. So just an absolute ridiculously bottom of the barrel price. But yeah, I mean, I would hope that in 2022, most of the people in the world are thinking like, well, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be going for oil that much anyway. At this point, we should try to, do something about the earth, becoming
also,
a
Biden,
lifeless ball. Yeah, sorry.
I don't agree that Biden is expecting too much from KSA. KSA wouldn't be even a country right now if it wasn't because of the United States. Everything that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has is because of the United States defense and military contracts and everything like that. Like the fact that they're showing I hope the United States like learns a lesson from this. Okay, because they were trying to, the Biden administration was trying to go aggressive on Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and then because of the whole Ukraine war and inflation, now they have to kind of go and beg to them to please give us some oil now. Everybody needs oil and gas. And now Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is showing them the cold shoulder and like going closer to, I don't know, Russia and China. After everything that United States has done from the Saudis, just because like MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, is just got butthurt over the Biden's comments during the elections about now is like, okay, you talk about like you give them so much, you give them everything. They owe everything to the United States. But now, because they're butthurt, now they're going towards like Russia and
Mm-hmm.
China.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that the Biden administration takes this as a lesson and really reduce the support for KSA. Like I want
I
KSA to
agree.
be punished severely for this, okay? Because if I want KSA to be punished um, in general because of their human rights record and everything,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But we know that the main priority for geopolitics and everything is money and oil and stuff, right? So even in the short term, I think this is going to benefit Kingdom of Saudi Arabia because the oil prices are like really good right now for them and they're like benefiting from
Mm-hmm.
this. But long term, I'm hoping that they have bet on the wrong horse, right now
Yeah.
they're betting on the Russian. Like, it's really weird that they're betting on the Russian horse rather than the American horse. Like, it's usually not a good bet to it. We have seen how Western powers like Western Europe and North America, they're a lot more powerful than a lot of people realize. Like, people
Mm-hmm.
were thinking that the US empire is dying and power is shifting from the west to east. Putin has shown us that is very wrong. That is very
Yeah.
wrong. Like, the powers are still very much in the hands of Western European and North American countries.
Yeah.
That's by a huge gap. So I'm hoping that longer term Saudi Arabia is like, okay, we made an oopsie here, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. I think
But
that's a good assessment, honestly.
yeah, okay. I mean, when you're renewable energy, like right now they're begging to Saudi Arabia. When renewable energy and everything, I hope when that picks up, we'll
Yeah.
see who's going to be begging who at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. 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 Without the oil, what exactly do they have? So I
yeah.
mean,
Nothing. They can't even defeat the like Houthis.
mm,
They can't with the most advanced weaponry in the world. They couldn't defeat people who didn't even have shoes.
mm.
Anyways, let's go to this one. Higgs boson is saying, why did Elon Musk stopping? Okay, I'm going to fix the grammar here. Why did Elon Musk stop Starlink services in Ukraine? Is it because he had a fight with an Ukrainian diplomat? I mean, he had a fight with Zelensky on Twitter. You saw
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of it, and I say this about a lot of the big grand gestures that Elon Musk talks about, which is, hey, maybe we just shouldn't look to this dude to be doing all this stuff. Maybe we should be working on this in a more multilateral capacity, right? Maybe it just shouldn't be one guy that can just have a bad morning on Twitter and then just decide that he's going to shut down some service that has potentially been one of the biggest things in terms of saving lives. So it was kind of like the thing with the soccer team in Thailand. You remember a while ago where they were stuck in a cave for like weeks or something, and Elon Musk was
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
"Oh, I'll send a submarine in there," and then people were like, "Yeah, that's not really going to work, Elon." And he was like, "Well, fuck you. I don't care about Thailand anymore." It was like, "Whoa, dude, calm down." Like,
I mean, to be fair, he did like Starlink really did help
it
Ukrainian
was, yes.
forces. Yeah, it was
Yes,
helpful.
this was very, very helpful. But yeah, the fact that something like that has had such a benefit to literally saving human lives, right? The fact that could just be turned off because one single person is just pissy about it is like, well, goodness gracious, like, come on,
Well, I
that's not
mean, we
fair.
don't know actually what happened. So,
Good
so
point.
this is
It's fair.
yeah. So what the report was here, like Ukrainian troops reported outages of Starlink devices on front line, hindering efforts to liberate territory from Russian forces. Ukrainian officials and soldiers told us. So this was the beef that before Elon Musk and Zelensky had. Elon Musk was asking a question on Twitter saying, um, offering a way for Ukraine and Russia to have peace. Okay, so like he's suggesting that maybe we should do this. Okay, if people like UK, so this is how it started before this whole Starlink fiasco, right? So he's like, redo elections of annexed regions under UN supervision. Russia leaves if that is the will of the people. Crimea formally part of Russia, as it has been since 1783 until Khrushchev's mistake. Water supply to Crimea assured. Ukraine remains neutral. Okay, this is nonsense. Okay, Elon, because first of all, this is very much like Putin's narrative. Like, I don't think Elon knows this kind of like Elon knows these things. This is very Russian narrative specific. Right?
Imagine thinking that you are so important that like you could reach out to two different countries right now, two cultures and histories that you are in no way, shape, or form a part of, and just settle some fucking war that's happening. Like, come on,
No,
Elon.
but the thing is that people are saying that he met with Putin, and he said like he hasn't over this topic. Okay, but the thing is that what he's posting is like literally word by word the narrative of Russians, and I don't think Elon is somebody who's like has went and like read Russian history to this detail to know this thing. Like he must have heard it from, I don't know, Putin or somebody, that he's like parroting it here, right? But the thing is that I don't know what happened in 1783, but that was 1783. Right now, if you accept Crimea as a formally part of Russia, you are accepting imperialist border-taking attitudes. Like, so you're saying if a country illegally invades another country, we should just give it to them, which is like a violation of all international laws. Like, you should not. No, sorry, you should not like surrender to bullies like that. That's nonsense. Okay, but anyways, after he tweeted this, Zelensky had a poll, I think, asking, did you like Elon before when he was supporting Ukraine or after when he's supporting Russia or something like that? And a lot of people said like they liked him before more, right? And even here, you can see most people are saying no to his suggestion, right? So I think people are saying maybe the reason why Starlink was having issues was because he got butthurt over what happened, the beef he had on Twitter with Zelensky. Mm-hmm. But here he's saying, just to be clear to both sides, here he's saying like, no, this is bad reporting by Financial Times. This article falsely claims that Starlink terminals and services were paid for when only a small percentage have been. Oh yeah, like he's saying like he's paying for it, right? This operation has cost SpaceX $80 million and will exceed $100 million by the end of the year. As for what's happening on the battlefield, that's classified. Okay, so he said he can't tell you. Oh, we got a super chat by Varun. Thank you. He's saying, I don't know what Varun is saying. Perhaps one show on Alexander Dugin needed. I don't know what that means. Oh yeah. That is. Well, I'm gonna try to remember that for later. Thank you, Varun.
Yeah, okay, that would be interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah. But okay. Also, I just want to highlight this that SpaceX's Starlink is back up in Ukraine. Good. So it's back up and running, So I just don't want to. We don't know what's happening. Yeah. A lot of people, act like they know what's happening. We don't know. But it might be because of other reasons. These are technical stuff. Things like sometimes there's other reasons for why things don't work. Anyways,
I will say good on Zelensky though. That comeback shows his skills as a comedian for many years. So
yeah. Trump and Donald Trump and Reagan have challenged the idea for celebrities being presidents are a good idea. But Zelensky brought back the idea of not all celebrities, but we were president. Yeah.
I know. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And he was actually a comedian. Reagan and Trump weren't comedians yet. Man, are we still laughing. But.
Yeah. All right. Oxymoron is saying, thoughts on... Oh, how do you pronounce this lady's name?
Georgia. I'm not Italian. Yeah.
Giorgia Meloni's neo-fascism versus Macron's neo-colonialism. Colonization. Wait, Macron is not a neo-colonialist. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say though, let's all take a moment to just recognize that apparently Italy just voted for fascism again. So that's not great. That's not great. So
Yeah. What the hell, Italy? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Well, they
What are
haven't
you
had a
doing?
stable fucking government for years now at this point, right? Like every year for the last like 5 years, they've voted for the new government like 4 times. So I don't know. They just can't. I don't know. They're just not happy with who's running. I don't know. More people run in Italy, I guess. Be better politicians.
Well, let's watch this. The new Italian prime minister is quite something.
Mm.
So this is Italy. Well, their new PM Giorgia Meloni certainly doesn't hold back, does she? Oh my God, what did she say here?
Oh yeah.
Here's her take on Macron after he called the Italians disgusting. I don't know if Macron called the Italians disgusting. I don't think Macron would do that.
I didn't see it. I would say, yeah, if he did, I'd have to question why. That seems to be a pretty bad PR move on his part. Yeah, that seems to not be a good idea. But maybe
the ones that voted for you.
Maybe that's what he was referencing. The fact that Italians voted for fascism, and that's disgusting. Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna watch the video. Hold on.
All right.
Emmanuel Macron. Emmanuel Macron.
So it says Emmanuel Macron describes us as disgusting, cynics, and irresponsible. I don't think he's called. Okay, I think that's an unfair representation of what Macron said. I bet, I haven't even listened to what he said, but I bet he was talking about you and your party and people who support your party, not about Italians as a whole. That's what I would bet this was.
I would be surprised if he said all of Italy is disgusting, full of cynics. Yeah, I would be surprised. But maybe.
This clip got 4 million views. This is like, okay, this is important. Let's watch it. Okay.
Ci ha definiti vomitevoli.
You have the audio, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Cinici. Irresponsabili.
Irresponsible.
E qui la stampa.
And here the Italian press began to ask, did you hear what Macron said about us? He said we're irresponsible. What a shame.
Italiana a dire, hai visto che ha detto Macron, che siamo irresponsabili. Vergogna.
The irresponsible Emmanuel Macron are those who bombed Libya because they were concerned that Italy would obtain important energy concessions with Gaddafi. Jeez, that's a major accusation right there.
Responsabile Emmanuel Macron sono quelli che hanno bombardato la Libia perché gli dava fastidio che l'Italia avesse un rapporto privilegiato in campo energetico con Gheddafi,
and left us facing the chaos of illegal immigration we are facing now. You know, honestly, I don't agree with any of her framing on this.
Yeah, just because I was able to find something very, very quick. So definitely would need to read more. But the quote was Macron accused Rome of cynicism and irresponsibility when they refused to take in a ship carrying hundreds of migrants. That seems to be where those words are coming from, which, God. I would say, yeah, probably is cynical and irresponsible.
So, yeah, and very different from calling all Italians. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is not the correct framing of this. This is why you shouldn't trust what you read on social media. See, this is about and left us facing with chaos of illegal immigration. This is about your anti-immigration narrative. The cynics, Emmanuel Macron, are the French who sent the gendarmerie. What is this?
Gendarmerie, maybe, I think is, but it's their military. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, gendarmerie.
Special forces or something.
To return any immigrant trying to cross the border by Ventimiglia.
Emmanuel Macron sono i francesi che mandano la gendarmerie a rispedire indietro qualunque immigrato tenti di passare il confine a Ventimiglia. Ma soprattutto.
You have to go like this with your hand while you're watching this.
And I will say this, which, has been said about other, people in the past who ended up doing bad things. But she is a good speaker. I mean, she's you know, she's got that charisma, she's got that, you know, captivation of the audience. It's just that she's saying really shitty things. So
yes. I'm trying to wash her hands to just see if at any point she literally goes like this or not.
Tutto perché le cose vanno
And most of all, and because things have to be said right, disgusting.
raccontate come si deve, vomitevole
Vomitel.
e buono, che lo vuoi tu?
What? Disgust.
yeah, they didn't translate some of that.
Mi hai tolto il pathos.
Disgusting is France that continues to exploit Africa by printing money to 14 African countries, charging them mint fees.
So I didn't know that France did that. If they do, that's pretty interesting.
I wouldn't trust a fascist to tell me what you know.
Fair.
Even if this what she's saying is true, I don't think she's a good source.
Yeah, I'd still rather get it from somebody.
Yeah.
Continua a sfruttare l'Africa stampando moneta per 14 nazioni africane sulle quali applica il signoraggio
And by children labor in the mines and by extracting raw materials as is happening in Niger. Again, I don't think like fascists care about black people that much, so I don't believe any of this pretending, you know, caring about Africans.
Also, is she offering to print the money for those African countries for free in Italy? Is that what her response is? Like, I can't believe you charge people for a service that you provide them. How dare you? Like,
right.
Okay.
Also, like a lot of right-leaning people think anytime you print money, you're doing something wrong. But like you literally have to print money.
Yeah, it's a requirement. Yeah.
Bambini nelle miniere estraendo materie prime come accade in Niger, dove la Francia
where France extracts 30% of the uranium it needs to run in its nuclear reactions, while 90% of Niger's population lives without electricity. You know how what I like about this is that I'm almost sure that 99% of the people who are clapping have no idea whether any of this is accurate or not, but it just sounds good. And sure, whatever. So let's just clap. Like it just sounds very powerful and confident.
I doubt anybody in that audience was like, "Oh, actually, it's 89.7% of the population in Niger." No, right. None of them have any freaking knowledge.
Nobody needs to fact check any of this without clapping. Okay, this is on our tribe. This is the leader of our tribe, and she's saying powerful stuff, and she's saying mean stuff to our enemy. So just clap, just follow, just smile and clap.
estrae il 30% dell'uranio che gli serve a far camminare le centrali nucleari e il 90% dei nigerini vive senza elettricità.
Do not come to teach us lessons, Macron. The Africans are abandoning their continent because of you.
Ci venire a fare lezioni, Macron, perché l'Africa scappa da voi.
The solution is not to transfer Africans to Europe, but to liberate Africa from some Europeans.
La soluzione non è spostare gli africani in Europa, è liberare l'Africa da certi europei.
We will not accept lessons from you. Is that clear?
Non accettiamo lezioni. Chiaro?
I mean, to be fair, Macron is kind of saving Europe. So I don't know. You should be more grateful, lady.
Yeah. The French has definitely been one of the most stable governments over the last decade, right?
Yeah, a major source of stability for the entire Europe. And you guys are actually a danger to Europe. So France has been, for sure. I think without France over the last few years, Italy probably would have just crumbled into the Mediterranean, which again, they got to decide on a government. That's what she might be out of office in the next 3 months, honestly, with the way that they've been voting for new PMs and stuff. It truly, but yeah, I mean, is that possible? Is that because Europe is Sweden have right-wing government now, and now Italy, it's just making me very pessimistic about this.
It's not great. It's really not. It's not a good sign. But hopefully that pendulum swings back a little bit more. So
God damn, I hope so. Yeah. He exposed it and saying, I'd say 1 year. I'll take that as well. I'll take that as well.
That's not bad.
Yeah. But right-leaning fascists usually have very powerful speeches, but then when it comes to actually doing stuff, they really screw up. So I hope that happens in Italy, so people learn their lesson and stop voting for fascists. Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next question. Oxymor is saying thoughts.
We just did. Yeah.
Why did I post this twice? Did I miss a question?
Hmm.
Higgs was saying, is Saudi Arabia mad at Biden for trying to get into the GCPOA? Yeah, and screw them.
Yeah,
like,
that was exactly my first thought when I saw it. I was like, oh, probably, but also, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Fuck them. Fuck them.
If they are, fine. If not, also fine. I guess it doesn't matter to me. But
yeah, I mean, if Saudi is angry with what you're doing, that might be a positive sign.
that might be one of the ways you're probably on the right side of history. Yeah. It's like,
yeah, but just to be clear though, a lot of Iranians right now don't we don't care about what Saudi Arabia says, but a lot of Iranian people are now wanting the Biden administration to not go forward with the JCPOA. So let me just clear that. Yeah,
interesting.
Oh, they're very angry.
They're thinking that not going through with it might help with the protests and
anti-regime Iranians really hate any regime in US that wants to move forward with
that's fair. That makes sense.
JCPOA. They're like, why are you negotiating with our hostage takers? Like, why are you you're negotiating with terrorists and something?
That's a pretty good point. I mean,
it's complicated though, because some other Iranians are saying we're starving because of these sanctions. Some other Iranians are like, no, if any money comes in, it's going to be used for things that are not helpful. Anyways, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Some people are saying even if we suffer, bring it on, whatever it takes to take down this regime. Yeah, it's complicated. I already talked about this a lot on the news segment, but yeah, I think we answered the question, so let's move on. Higgs wasn't saying, is rural. I always have that's a tongue twister.
It is a weird word.
Yeah, is rural. Is 2 R's and an L makes it hard. Rural Iran protesting as enthusiastically against the regime as urban Iran. A lot, especially some of the major casualties have actually been in rural areas in Kurdistan and Baluchistan. I mean, I guess it depends on how you define rural, because in Iran, by Iranian standards, anything that is not Tehran, people say is rural, even though there are major cities in other provinces. So based on, how central people in major cities consider smaller cities that even are big.
Not for sure.
Yeah, so it's relative. But anyways, you would consider Kurdistan and Baluchistan to be kind of rural compared to what the Tehran is viewed by a lot of people, and some of the most bloodiest clashes with the government have been in those areas. And originally it wasn't getting much coverage because apparently central places are where high income people are, and those get more attention. But there was a huge backlash to why these are not getting enough attention, because they were gunning people down. The government was gunning people down from helicopters in Zahedan, and in and Sanandaj, people were killed. So it was so yes, the answer is very much so. It's very well. Yeah,
I think I saw a map the BBC had posted recently on an article where they were discussing in further detail the protests, and they had posted a map of all the places that there had been confirmed protests, and they looked pretty widespread.
It's pretty widespread,
which is, again, I very much think is awesome. So
it's geographically very widespread, is ethnically very widespread. It's not, it used to be sometimes it was, before the protest, it was the Kurds or the Baluch or the Arabs. Now it's across ethnicities, across religious affiliation, religious, secular, across ages, men, women, across demographics, across classes, upper class, lower class. It's just
incredible.
It's the most diversified uprising that we have ever seen in Iran. So that's very interesting about it. I hope it comes to something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biggs wasn't saying helicopters. Yeah, they were shooting
Yeah.
people from helicopters. They were gunning down people from helicopters.
Yeah, that's just fucked up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So next, if Indian Muslims all stop eating beef, would the relations between them and Hindus be significantly better?
I don't think that is the biggest problem that
No.
they have. I don't think there are a bunch of like hardcore right-wing Hindutva followers that are walking around going, if only all of these Muslims would stop eating beef in our country. I don't think that's the main issue. But what do I know? I'm not Hindu, I'm not Muslim, I'm not Indian, so maybe it is. Maybe it's a lot more important. But
Yeah, I think the beef eating stuff is an excuse
agree.
to attack Muslims.
Totally agree.
The hatred is from somewhere else.
Yeah.
There's a very deep-rooted hatred, and they're like, "Oh, let's go defend the cows." Sure.
I would be surprised if we've seen some of those videos of the people chanting about like, you know, the death to all, you know, that type of stuff, right? In you know, big Hindutva crowds. I don't think if you walked into the middle of that and said like, guys, all the Muslims are going to stop eating beef. They just announced it. I don't think everybody would just like cheer and go home happy. So
yeah, like, oh, finally we can be friends now. No.
That was our one gripe with you. Thank you.
No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh wait, I have a small question here that I'm just gonna answer very fast. Shuriash is saying a bit of a personal question for Armin. What, if anything, do you miss about Iran? I miss my mom's cooking, which I don't think I'm gonna get even if I go back to Iran because my mom passed away. But yeah, that's what I miss the most. I miss my mom. So if I go back to Iran, I will go hunt as many restaurants as possible to find something close to what my mom's cooking used to be, because I really need that. I need that. There's nowhere in the world that I could find something close to what my mom's cooking was. So bad. Yeah.
I was watching something not long ago, and apparently there is a drink in Iran that's like bottled in Iran that's like a carbonated yogurt or something.
Yes.
That's a thing.
Yeah, salty
Oh,
carbonated yogurt is salty.
Is it good?
I mean, it's an acquired taste.
It's
but
an acquired taste. That's fair.
I love it. I can't take enough of it. Salty yogurt carbonated.
Interesting. Have you ever had like eggnog or boiled custard? I have to imagine this is kind of in that vein. Those aren't they're creamy like dairy kind of drinks, but they're things that like the vast majority of people, the first time they try it, it's like, whoa, what the hell is that? You know, and then some people just love it and just cannot get enough of it. But yeah. If I ever go to Iran, I know what I'm drinking.
You don't need to go to Iran to get dugh. You could go to almost any Persian restaurant and they might have it.
Really? All right.
They probably have it. Like, yeah, go to a Persian restaurant and ask for dugh.
I'll do some Google searches. Find it.
And also Persian stores probably have it.
I don't know if we have a Persian store. We have like an
everywhere. Like,
I guess there's bound to be one. Yeah, there's bound to be one.
Yeah.
Will we find it at like a Kurdish store? I know there's a big Kurdish and like Somali population.
I think Kurdish people have dugh. Yeah, I think
okay.
they would have dugh. Yeah, I don't know if they call it dugh, but they probably have something like that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let me know how you like it if you try.
Yeah, I will. We'll do it. We'll do it on stream. I'll try it on stream.
I honestly think you will hate it.
Okay.
And that's my prediction. Okay. All right. Ronnie is asking, what are your thoughts about the recent mass conversion event where an opposition leader of a major Indian political party was also present? The Hindus were being converted to Buddhism there. Some pretty bad language was used for Hindu gods and goddesses. This is a new Buddhist cult recently growing in India. Even I heard about them the first time. Okay, let me actually bring up a news article about this. Let's see what the
This
hell is
was-
happening here.
It almost in that it almost sounded as if they were like converting this whole crowd without them necessarily being a part of it. Like the crowd didn't really have a say in the matter. They were just like converting them, which I don't think that works. I don't think that's how that works. But I don't know. I guess if 10,000 people all gathered together and wanted to profess their faith in whatever deity, or I guess that's okay. But if you're like forcibly converting people, that sounds bad. Pretty.
Are they forced? They can.
I don't
they
know.
can
That's
just
what I'm
stand up
saying.
and leave.
I don't know.
Oh, they're doing a Nazi salute as well.
They look like they're
Yeah.
taking part in that, but
Yeah. By the way, I know this is not a good source, OP India, but whatever.
Gotta start
OP India,
somewhere.
but I mean, OP India. They used to love me, by the way. OP India. Now they hate me. Do you know about these people? These are the people that made me go viral.
Yeah, I've read some stuff from them in the past. Yeah, I would say that they have just a bit of a bias.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But anyway, we will trust them today. Just today, we will trust them in this. Okay. So it says AAP minister joins event where 10,000 Hindus were converted to Buddhism. Had earlier said they are working to turn India into a Buddhist nation. On Wednesday, October 5th, AAP MLA Simapuri Rajendrapal Gata, is that all of it? Is that his name? Wow. Was spotted at an event where 10,000 Hindus were converted en masse to Buddhism. Their controversial event, organized by the Buddhist Society of India, was conducted at the... Oh, Dr. Ambedkar! Okay, to be fair, Dr. Ambedkar wanted people to go from Hinduism to Buddhism because he hated Hinduism and Islam, okay? However, his Dr. Ambedkar version of Buddhism was not really Buddhism. He took Western Enlightenment values and he wanted to sell it in India, and he was like, he couldn't sell foreign stuff to them, so he would like put a Buddhism label on it, and he's like, "Hey, I guess this is Buddhism." But honestly, he didn't. Yeah, I don't know. These are like people in the live chat are saying these people are neo Ambedkarist kind of people.
Interesting. Again, though, I mean, the way that the article writes it, it almost sounds like they converted 10,000 people against their will, but it doesn't seem as if. It seems like they're. So like 10,000 Hindus were converted in mass is a weird way of saying that, in my opinion. 10,000 Hindus decided that they wanted to be this type of Buddhist. But yeah, I mean, if this organization is one that ultimately has really bad ideologies at its core, then I think, that's a problem, because now there's 10,000 more people that are a part of something, that is just a shitty ideology, let's say. Again, if that's the case, I'm not sure about this particular group. Again, I'd probably argue that there's a reason to be skeptical if you know for a fact like a group was started by somebody who hated Hindus or
I mean,
Jews
if then, I mean, it doesn't seem forced, so I don't know why people would have a problem with it. I think a lot of Hindutva people think like anybody who's leaving Hinduism is either being brainwashed or being forced into it without them knowing about something, so they get really butthurt over. They don't understand that people might actually genuinely not want to be Hindu. Some people, right? So I think they have a.
Isn't it a Hindu doctrine too that like we're all like Hindu at our hearts, and like we. Like
come back home,
just like Islam, right? Like that's true for both of them, right?
Yeah, very much like Islam, and they keep telling us that we have an Abrahamic mindset, like just how like Muslims say like everybody is like a Muslim by birth. But they actually limit it to people with their ethnicity who are born around that area. They're like,
so they made it worse.
They made it worse. Yeah, they're like the Muslims in Pakistan, they have to come back home at one point. They realize that they're actually not Muslim. But they also actually, it depends on which kind of Hindu extremists you talk to, because some of them say that you're always a Hindu and you cannot leave Hinduism because that's your ethnicity. Some of them are like, if you go back to Hinduism, they're like, no, you were a Muslim. Once a Muslim, always a Muslim. You have a Muslim DNA. So it's just like people have different views. It's not a consistent thing.
No.
Varun sent us a $2 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Varun. I appreciate that. Saying, why should lower caste not leave Hinduism? Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. And a lot of people, a lot of people who do convert out of Hinduism, unfortunately, some of them convert to Islam, but also convert to Buddhism, or just convert to out of Hinduism to just leave religion, atheism. That's the best. You could do that. But a lot of them who are motivated to leave Hinduism is because they're lower caste and they just don't like how they're being treated. Unfortunately, leaving to Islam used to be a solution for people. And then Islam decided to have its own caste system in India and Pakistan. So they were like, once you're lower caste, you're always lower caste, even if you join Islam. Like, you used to be a lower caste Hindu, now you're a lower caste Muslim.
Good job. Good job, y'all. Taking the worst bits of the ideologies and putting them together.
Like, how could you make Islam worse? Like, as bad as Islam is, like, let's take the worst part of another religion and just add that to our already crappy religion.
Oh my God.
The combination of all the oh my
fucking
nonsense. Oh, we got another super chat. Thank you so much, Asian American, $5 super chat, saying converting to something en masse sounds like Abrahamic thinking. Real pagans cherry pick our God's teachings as well. I think religion is very flexible. There's no Abrahamic mindset. You guys this is all fairy tales. You guys just make it up as you go. You could decide that, en masse conversions is the best thing ever, or it's like it's a sin. You guys have no consistency. It's religion.
I'm sure in literally all of the texts of the religions we've talked about, Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam, I'm sure in all of their holy books, I'm sure we can find contradictions where it would be like, yeah, converting people in mass is the right thing. Actually, it's a private thing. It's a personal thing. Do it at home. I'm sure we'll find that in pretty much all of them. So,
I mean, you can make it. Yeah. I mean, in Shia Islam, they decided that you cannot have a government ever, unless until the Mahdi comes back, right?
Well, sure.
And then we had a revolution in Iran. And we're like, I guess we were wrong for the past 1,200 years. We're not going to hold the government.
Oops, our bad.
Yeah,
got that one wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, Ronnie is saying, what are your thoughts about the recent? Oh wait, I read that already. Okay. Oh, we're going through these fast. Ryan is saying, in India right now, many Hindutva leaders are radicalizing people into economically boycotting Muslims by not buying things from Muslim traders and businessmen. Do you think that is a good step to curb Islamic extremism? Holy crap, no. Or it might add fuel to the fire. No, that's the opposite of that. That's the best way to fuel Islamic extremism. Isolating people is how you create Islamic extremism. What are you? Of course not. The way that you fight Islamic extremism is by inclusion, by trading with people, by becoming friends with them, by buying stuff from them, selling stuff to them. If you want to make more Islamic extremists, you isolate them. You financially punish them. This is the opposite of what you do if you want actually. Yeah. Anyways, I've been saying this forever. What do you think?
I'm right there with you. Yeah. I don't see that. I don't know how in the world that would possibly tamp down on Islamic extremism. I don't think any of the experts out there, and that's not me saying I can't think of a way that it would, so therefore it can't. What I'm saying is I'm pretty sure every single time that we've ever looked at like why we have the extremism and the violence, whether it's Islamic or Hindutva or Christian or whatever it is, like I don't think it's because somebody was running like a successful business with other people in like ethnically diverse areas or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how a Muslim family who sets up a store and is running it and is a peaceful family, I don't know how they're promoting extremism in that sense, right? You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, and also every single study and data shows that isolation, ostracization, demonization, exclusion is how you feed radicalism,
right? and financial instability as well.
Financial instability, exactly. Okay, and including people, welcoming them, befriending them. And also financial progress. Like you want for Islamic extremism, make them poor. Okay, You want a less Islamic
Yeah.
extremism, make them financially feel included in the rest of society. Okay, make them feel like this is their home, this is their society, this is their country. That would reduce Islamic extremism. Okay, every single data shows that. Okay, but here's the thing: there's a problem with the question. I don't think Hindutva wants less Islamic extremism. Hindutva benefits from Islamic extremism. So if you could keep poking at them so they become radicalized and use their radicalism to feed your radicalism, that's actually in their best interest. So there's that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought there, Armin. Yeah. I'm I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's that right on the edge of conspiracy with your thoughts there. Not that we've actually like had people even say it out loud. So, yeah.
Yeah. PK is confirming this. That's true. Okay.
Well, it must be that.
Yeah, it must be true. I mean, PK is from
Yeah.
India. Yeah. This is not us people with Abrahamic mindset saying things. Yeah, we actually take a lot of information from India and Indian and the subcontinent. All right, let's go to the next question again by Rani. Rani saying, just today the hijab case verdict came out in India as a split verdict. One judge was with the hijabis and the other against, which means this drama will continue. People say the original movement was started by PFI. I personally back the school staff for not allowing hijabs in classes. What is your opinion about the whole case? Have you been following this case?
I've seen you all talk about it on the news. I think you guys have followed it a little. I think you made a statement in the past about it. One of the biggest aspects of this case is whether or not they're consistent about all of the religious head coverings, if they're consistent about all the religious symbolism and stuff. And if they are consistent about it and they're just saying no to all of it, and this person's like, well, why can't I wear my hijab? And they're like, because we already said no to all religious symbols. Then yeah, I would side with that side and say, well, yeah, I mean, that's consistent. If on the other hand, they're just making a ruling that says you can't wear a hijab because you can't show off your religion, and then, the turban and crosses and, Star of David and stuff, then I would disagree with that ruling. So.
Yeah, this is more about anti-Islam rather than being secular, right? Or anti-Muslim, actually, okay? Yeah. Because there's two reasons why I don't support this, right? Is because they're focused on the hijab, but the turban is allowed. Nobody dares take an anti-Sikh position on these things in India. That would be like that. It seems like a red line, okay? And like, if you can't target the turban, then you have no right targeting the hijab. You have to be all or
agree.
Not.
Agree.
Yeah. Oh,
that seems pretty simple.
We got a $50 super chat by John Matters. I will get to that very soon. Thank you so much for the that's pretty generous. I will highlight that very soon. But another reason why I don't support it is because, unlike, for example, in France, I support it. In India, I don't, because in France, first of all, it's consistent across all religious symbols, but also you can't not. It's not gonna make girls not go to school. Like France has, for me, the girls getting their education is a priority over keeping schools religious symbol free. Like if I would like, which one do you care about more? Girls getting their education or keeping schools free from all religious symbols? Again, I care about keeping schools free from all religious symbols, but if that comes at the expense of some girls not attending school, I would be like, screw that. Let them come with the hijab because they need to get their education, right?
Yeah.
In France, you don't have a way not to get the girls to school. Like it's enforced, and girls are going to get their education, with or without a job. That girl is going to get her education. In India, that level of enforcement is not there. So telling girls that you can't wear your hijab in school could literally mean that they're just going to not show up to school and not going to get educated. So in India, I do not support that. So that's another reason why I don't support it.
Yeah, and I would say just with that point you were making about which one of these do I care more about, the secularization of public schools or women and girls actually receiving education? I think the women and girls actually receiving good proper education will lead to that second thing, rather than the second thing leading to the first one, right? Like if we just make all the schools secular and stuff, that doesn't necessarily lead us to more, young girls actually being educated, where I think us actually educating more young girls around the world will lead us to more secularization in public schools and stuff.
Yeah. Oxymoron is saying let them go to madrasas. I said I want them educated, not brainwashed. Jesus Christ.
Just a difference in terminology there.
Yes. Anyways, here's the major super chat that we got by John Mathers. Yeah? Is that how you read that? Yeah. He's saying, here's a free toaster.
Sweet.
Does that make us obligated to use the money for a toaster?
Do toasters cost $50? I have no idea. I haven't bought a toaster in a while, so I'm not sure what the price would be. But
John, is it okay if we use it for something else, please? But
we're looking at a new blender, actually. So
thank you so much. This is very, very generous. I did not expect a $50 super chat today. It was very surprising. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, and also $2 super chat from Maroon is saying, thank you so much for the super chat. The comment says, in the grab of logic / secularism, they hate Muslims. What do you the garb?
Yeah, I think Varun was saying exactly what you were saying at the beginning, which is it seems very obvious that this is a we just don't like Muslim thing, not a we're trying to be consistent about our logic and secularism thing. And so,
okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking that as. But I mean, please, Varun, yell at us if we're wrong. So
okay. Varun likes to talk in riddles. We have to decipher what he's saying. Yeah, but thank you. John Mathers is also confirming that we could buy toasters or blenders or all of them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
The Atheist Republic office blender has been broken for weeks, you guys. We haven't been able to have smoothies around the office. So just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, Higgs wasn't saying who are super Sufis and what's their ideology, as Sheikh Asim al-Hakim suggests as the enemy of Saudi Arabia. Super Sufis? I don't know. I didn't know there's such a thing.
Yeah, I have never heard of this.
Sufi, whatever.
They don't mean like super as in like superpowers, right? Because then we have a problem. But
I will convert to Sufism right away. I mean, I don't think we have any choice if there's.
Yeah, it's like if you convert to being a super Sufi, like you automatically get like one superhero power, like laser eye vision, or like you can turn invisible. Without that,
okay, I don't know how to answer this because I literally have no idea about this. So sorry, Higgs Boson.
Well,
maybe you should have provided it. No, I'm not sorry. Maybe you should have provided a link. You should have provided a link with this. Maybe ask this again, but next time provide a link so that we could like bring it up and read it on screen. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. Gage in America. This is the last question. Did I miss any questions, guys? If I missed any questions, I'm gonna do a top-down look to see.
I think
we got all of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Gage in American is asking: was the Hong Kong riots and smearing of feces in the city council a valid form of protest? Did they smear feces in the city council in Hong Kong?
Not a huge fan of that part, I'd be honest. But
did that really happen?
I hadn't heard that reported personally. But that doesn't, that definitely doesn't mean that it didn't happen. So I think just real quick, I think the only one that we haven't talked about is the one from Gaijin that was just like 3 paragraphs. So
no, yeah, I'm not gonna touch it. I was actually serious about not touching a 3-paragraph question. Let me actually, what should I search for? I'm getting some really disgusting results for something else.
I was gonna say, if you put like feces city council Hong Kong, that may just bring up some websites that are not.
No, for some reason I decided to just put feces and Hong Kong, and I did not like that is not the search thing.
Oh
my god. I should not have searched for that. Your voice. I'm not getting anything. Feces. What should I search for? Are you getting anything?
I'm trying a couple of different phrases and so forth. Oh, well, let me see. Hang on. America.Al Jazeera. Hong Kong protesters distance themselves from anti-mainland movement. That might be something totally different. Okay.
This is fake news. Fake news by Asian American.
Let me see. Okay, so I've got. Okay,
maybe you should have provided a link. Again,
Yeah.
Asian American. The guys, if you send us questions like this, you should provide a link with it. Okay.
So I don't know. I'll just start off by saying I don't know how reputable this particular reporting or this particular website. This is coconuts.co/Hong Kong/news. So again, just don't know exactly how, but apparently, I mean, the headline is, "Oh crap, woman caught on CCTV smearing feces on district councilor's office door." But this is also coming from August 29th of 2019. That's when this article was originally posted.
Okay.
But if we take this at face value as being accurate, it looks like one person did this. Even still, I'd say one person or 12 people or 100 probably don't smear poop when you're trying to protest.
You know what? Whether this is a fake news or real news, let's just answer the question. No, I do not recommend it. I do not recommend using it.
Yeah.
Why do we even have to look whether this is real? We can just answer the question. Do not smear feces as
Asian American just wanted to screw up both of our search history and stuff. Just wanted to mess with us.
Yes. Why did we even have to look at for this? Obviously, the answer is no. This is not a valid form of protest.
I like that though.
Why am I wasting my time?
Both of us were like, "Well, yeah, let's actually look into this and investigate as to whether or not."
No investigation needed. No, there's not just for riot. The answer is never smearing of feces. Okay.
What if
there's very few problems in life that the solution is smearing of.
What if your roommate though eats the last ice cream sandwich? Do you think it's valid then, or do you think that's not a personal issue that I'm trying to settle with somebody or anything? So
no, not even that. Not
okay.
Even that.
All right.
Yeah. I forget. Goddamn, Amber Heard's.
Yeah. Oh my god! I hear they're gonna make a movie about that, which is just so frustrating in my opinion. But
wait, really? With the poop and everything?
The trial. I don't know exactly what all is going to be in it, but supposedly there's already talks about the movie being made, and that just frustrates me. I'll be honest. So. Oh, well.
Okay, let me post a link. Guys, I'm not gonna wait long if you don't show up. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for literally 1 minute. I'm gonna post a link for our members to come, and then if you guys don't show up, we're gonna better join. Oh, we got another super chat. Hold on, let me see all members. I'm gonna putting a link in the community tab for members only. Now, if you're a YouTube member, you could come live on there and talk to me and Secular Rarity. But you don't have much time, okay? So take advantage of it if you want right now, but then we're going to leave soon. But let's look at the super chat. Varun saying it is valid protest if you are 2-year-old. Yes, you're okay. Yes. Wait, no, is it? I would.
2-year-old. Do 2-year-olds have the reasoning skills to work through that whole? And I don't think so. And so I would say it's valid only because it's valid at the same point when you're 102 years old and you poop everywhere. It's just kind of one of those biological things you can't 100% control, I guess, right?
No, but I'm not a father, so I don't know. But
you're saying purposefully smearing it on. Oh, then yeah, I would say probably not. Maybe not.
No. Even for a 2-year-old, I think you would make it clear that was not accepted.
Yeah,
that was not an acceptable form of anything.
I was just thinking about just a 2-year-old kid just pooping his pants or something.
No, taking it and smearing it.
Yeah, that's probably again, I'd say I'd probably frown on that behavior. So
yes, you will let them know that this is not okay. Yeah, even if you're two. Oh, okay. So we got Higgs boson and oxymoron here. Oh my God, everyone's here. Okay. So one at a time, please, and short questions, and just one question only. Like we're not gonna go like question after question after question. We're gonna do one question short, and then we're gonna move on to the next person. Let me see who was first. Higgs boson was first. Higgs boson. Hi. What's your question?
I'll wait.
Oh, you're wait. Okay, good. Let's go to the second person, which was oxymoron. Oxymoron, what's your question?
So I had data, like huge data, about the Pew survey.
What?
I had
Louder,
huge
please.
data.
yeah, you're a little
I
quiet,
had
Oxy.
data which is too huge. I think it will take time, so I'll not do that.
Data on
what's
what?
What's your question?
Okay, so
no. Ask a simple one-line question.
okay, so do you remember I compared Ukraine with Kashmir last time? So what Elon Musk was saying is we should have referendum in the Russian occupied territory, which UN referendum. So which is exactly similar to what the liberal world was asking for India to do. So I don't think. Do you think they are the liberal world is very consistent on that?
I think the inconsistency is how the territory was acquired by the country that is potentially at risk of giving it up. The difference is stark, in my opinion. India didn't like take over Kashmir, if I remember correctly, right? They didn't send in troops and do it like that. It was a political thing that happened a long time ago that maybe sides don't agree with, but that was the decision that was made. Whereas with like what Elon Musk was naively, offering to the Ukrainians, he basically what Elon Musk was offering was the Russians came in and stole your shit. Now let's vote on whether or not they get to keep it. So the two scenarios are a little bit just not.
Also, at the formation of India and Pakistan, a referendum was already promised to the people in Kashmir. We don't have such history when it comes to Crimea.
I would like to add one more thing. The referendum already happened in Ukraine, I think like 1990 something, and all the districts voted in majority to be part of Ukraine.
Well, okay, so we had a referendum then.
That's fair.
There we go.
Doesn't mean that we couldn't have another. But yeah, I think
I was talking about UN referendum. So the situations are very similar. So the Pakistan, which invaded Kashmir, just like the Russia invaded Ukraine, Pakistan invaded Kashmir. So Kashmir, the king of Kashmir and the largest political party, that time decided to submit to India.
The people of Kashmir did not decide that.
Yeah.
The king was not a representative of the people.
Yeah.
When it comes to Crimea, the people of Crimea decided to be part of Ukraine. The people of Kashmir did not decide to be part of India. It was one dude, guy, which was not a representative of the people there.
And when you say that
Kashmir had democracy. Oxy. It had parliamentary democracy.
Oxy, hang on
but
just a
the
second.
guy that you go.
Are you saying when Pakistan took over Kashmir, are you claiming that they mobilized military troops and put them in formation and sent them to destroy towns and kill people and stuff and take them over by force?
Yes.
Because that would definitely be something that I would need to look into more.
No. It wasn't Pakistan. It was militia. It was Islamic militia groups. It was like because they were Islamic, you cannot say officially it was Pakistan.
Right. And just because they may be Pakistani doesn't mean that they're sanctioned by the government like they are.
It was backed by Pakistan, but it was not the Pakistani army.
Pakistan agreed that it sent the Pakistani army disguised as the militia at UN. So Pakistan that makes
it was supported by some elements. It was supported by some
invasion of Pakistan illegal.
It was supported by some elements within the Pakistani government. Okay, but again, another main difference is that guy was not a representative of Kashmiri people. The Kashmiri people did not agree with that decision. That's the main difference. Anyways, we need to move to other people. But before we move to other people, I want no. We need to move to other. we need to move to other people. We could come back to this after, okay? But Adam just gave us a super chat. Adam is saying it's been over. Thank you so much for the 15 shekels. This is important that he says the shekels because people keep accusing us of being Zionist shells, and we wanted to make sure that the accusation is accurate, okay, so that they're not lying. And Adam is always here to make sure that we actually are getting funded from inside Israel. So I really appreciate that. Okay, 15 shekels saying it's been over an hour and you haven't been shilling for the Mossad ever, even once. Here are some evil Zayo shekels. Do your best. Okay. No. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Mossad. Please. I am always available. I know you have been showing me the cold shoulder for many, many years. I still humbly ask that you consider my application to join your organization. I will be a major asset. Thank you so much, Adam, for the opportunity.
I have my
okay.
question now. If
Yes.
I can. Yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
I wanted to ask like about the recently with Saudi Arabia and the UAE, like not going with the demands of the Biden administration. I have recently kind of observed that like the so-called Saudi UAE camp have been far more pro in body with the right-wing governments like the Republicans and the conservatives, and I've seen like the Muslim Brotherhood types are more aligned with like the Western left-leaning governments like the Labor and like the Democrats, if you would call them left, whatever. But this is one kind of observation, and some are saying that what Saudi is doing right now is to get the Republicans back in power. What do you think about that?
That's an interesting observation because Republicans have been more aggressive when it comes to supporting tyrants around the world. When it comes, as long as they're in line with U.S. interests, right? I mean, Democrats do that as well, but Republicans have been a lot more brazen about it, right?
Yep.
And I guess like Muslim Brotherhood type, even though they're evil as well, a lot of their organizations are evil as well. Like Hamas is Muslim Brotherhood, right? Their fundamental philosophy is believes in Islamic democracy, right? So we have like
Grassroots Islam.
so we have like three brands of political Islam around the Middle East. One is like the Vilayat al-Faqih version of Shia Islam, which is based on Iran, and then the Sunni monarchs, which is like Saudi Arabia and Gulf Arab countries, right? And then you have Muslim Brotherhood type Sunni Islam, which is believe in elected governments, Islamic elected governments, which is like mostly focused on examples of that goes to Qatar, Turkey, Hamas, and even all the way to Tunisia. We have it gets as extreme as Hamas and as mild and as some political groups in Tunisia, right? So it's very diverse. And I guess the reason why the more Muslim Brotherhood type are more aligned with Democrats in the United States is because
And Labour Party in the UK.
Yeah, it's maybe because the right-leaning people are more supportive of the monarchs around the world, so maybe that's why they just align with the
Are
other
they
side.
more
Maybe
like
that's the
pro
reason.
business, are the monarchs more pro business, pro capitalist, or something like that?
I don't know that
Compared.
that's necessarily the focus. So when I first when you first at the first thought that came to my mind is, yeah, autocrats hang with other autocrats. That's just the way that works. The authoritarians will tend to support other authoritarians throughout the world, even if they have contradictory ideas, like fundamentally opposed to each other. And one reason is because if authoritarianism as a model is shown to be effective worldwide, well, it helps the authoritarian that's trying to help the other authoritarians, right? So yeah, we often see those people on the far right, even if they're contradictory and they fundamentally hate each other. If there's one authoritarian regime and another authoritarian regime, they're probably going to be more in line with that. The Republicans in the United States aren't a authoritarian regime exactly, but they seem to be wanting to go further down that route. So
Yeah,
Since
this is
you're-
why you see somebody. This is why you see somebody like Trump, loving, talking,
Exactly.
complimenting people like Duterte, Putin, or any other goddamn
he
dictator.
has
around the
insulted
world.
every democratic leader. He has insulted Angela Merkel and
Mhm.
all
Yes.
Theresa May. He has
Macron.
praised literally every authoritarian leader. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since,
Yeah.
since you're taking Zionist money, would you consider MPS a Zionist?
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I consider myself a Zionist, depending on the definition of Zionism, right? MBS doesn't. I think MBS is too focused on survival to have any ideological leaning. It's more about whatever it takes to survive. He's kind of like a Trump, that whatever he throws shit at the wall and whatever works, whatever sticks, just goes with that. So I don't think he has any consistent ideological principles that he abides by. And that's my guess. I don't know, by the way.
Really?
But anyway, yeah.
Trump also supported the boonies. He talked at like a 9/11 event.
For the Moonies in
Yeah.
South Korea, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, they're from South Korea, but they're based a lot of places.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Wait, No Man 041. I see you trying to come up, but your mic is not connected, so I can't click on you to come up. So you kind of have to figure out how to connect your mics for me to be able to click you to come up. All right. So next person
That's all I
is
had.
Gage.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Explosion. Did we answer what you said? Did we answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, good.
Have
Okay,
a great,
great.
have a great night.
All right. Thank you. Gage American. Hi. What's your question?
Hey, so as to my 3-paragraph essay of a question, I was trying to provide context. So in Taoist, whatever the F woo-woo nonsense, it is believed that your yang qi dips during noontime and then your yin qi rises, and during this time is the best time for you to take a nap. And so like schools, businesses, and you can see it in Japan. They have nap salons for you to take noonday naps. And in equatorial regions, where the day, like it's in the equator, so it's like the hottest, they have like noonday naps as well. And so like businesses are closed down during that time. And I was wondering, like, what do you think is the best way to implement it in North America? Like with petitions, or just sue people and say that you're not letting me take my noonday nap. You're violating my Taoist religious freedom.
So just real quick on both of the two places that you mentioned, I think it is also worth pointing out that there are some other factors as to why that would be the case. So like, for instance, in Japan, I know there is very much a work all the time culture, very much so, in the sense of you work 12 hours, then you're supposed to go out for dinner with the boss, and then you're supposed to go, do this, and then you got to be back at work, early, and you get there early, you stay late. And so, because I remember reading about some of these little, like, you can rent out a space for like 2 hours and take a
Yeah,
nap
nap salons.
Yeah, okay, thank you. But that isn't necessarily due to any other reason, I think, other than just that. But there is actually some interesting preliminary studies, I would say, when it comes to about breaking up your times of sleep. Even in the United States, for instance, it was very commonplace up until about 100, maybe 120 years ago. Most average people in the United States would sleep for about 4 or 5 hours, and then they would be awake for 1 or 2 hours in that kind of midnight to 2 a.m. period, and then they would go back to sleep for another 4 or 5 hours. So there is some stuff out there that does seem to indicate doing that might be a little bit more beneficial. And there are also a lot of more tribal and indigenous cultures around the world that do practice something more similar to that as well. I don't know that we have enough scientific data to indicate that one is truly undeniably better than the other, right? I think what we have is some indication that sleeping in one long block, 8 to 12 hours at a time, wasn't something that was super commonplace up until not long ago. So
I wasn't specifically talking about the bifurcated sleep pattern, which was recorded in Homer's Iliad. I was mostly just talking about a noonday nap, even if you've had like your full 8 hours of sleep.
Well, if there's more info on that somehow that is deeply beneficial for us in our circadian rhythm or something, I'd love to see that. If that was one of the things that you posted on that.
Yeah, I did. I posted like a scientific article to it, and my actual question was, which would be easier to implement in America? Like to say that, oh, you not letting me sleep during noon is violating my religious freedoms, and I could sue you for it, or just, I guess, talk to people and start unionizing and put it in my union contract, or
I don't think you could
running for office and all that.
I don't think you would be able to win on the religious freedom claim. I don't think that would work.
Wow, America is oppressing our religious freedom.
Well, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that, but I would say that I don't know that is enough of a. So one of the biggest problems for sure in the United States when it comes to, religious freedom is kind of something like we saw earlier. Oh gosh, I know you guys were talking about this on the news, but it was like weeks and weeks ago, but it was maybe the Indian Supreme Court, like basically weighing in as to whether or not something was a central tenet of Islam. And because they ultimately ruled that it wasn't a central tenet, then it wasn't violating religious freedom. So that's one of the problems. And right now in the United States, the Supreme Court is undeniably right-wing Christian nationalists, and they're not shy about admitting that. And so nobody will win a religious freedom argument in the United States unless you are a evangelical Christian until the Supreme Court is changed. So at least in like a practical sense, that may not, work like that. But I would be, if you started a petition and maybe like a nonprofit organization and you were focused on advocating for more sleep throughout the day in the United States, I'd probably fucking join that tomorrow. I love sleep. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your input.
Wow. I didn't think you guys would have so much to talk about.
Oh man, dude, no, you'd be surprised. There's some really, really interesting stuff with sleeping, actually. Like the whole limbic system and like the brain basically like creates these chemicals that I just let
my Google Galaxy Watch, Samsung Watch, just tell me if I had a good sleep or not.
See, that's your problem. Yeah. You're too beholden to that technology, Armin. You got to go back to natural sleep.
Yeah, you need to feel the chi flow through you.
It literally gives me a score every time I wake up. I check like,
Armin, chi is beyond the understanding of the universe and technology.
I do like the idea though of waking up after like a nap and like my watch telling me like you did a good job. Like, that would make me feel good.
It does do that, yeah. Sometimes I get offended. It tells me that my sleep was not good enough. I go back to sleep just to increase my score. All right. We should go to the next person. All right, PK. Was it PK? Did PK speak?
Mm-mm.
No, PK did
not. Continue the discussion.
Okay,
yeah, I wanted to continue the discussion on that Kashmir and Ukraine thing. I would just like to add one thing here that I think that there's a big difference in that in Kashmir, the people wanted their own referendum, and that was an organic movement. Yes, it was fueled by Pakistan, but there is still an organic movement in Kashmir for their own referendum. Whereas in Ukraine, yes, there were in that area some Russian sympathizers, but there was never an organic mass movement for a referendum. So that really changes the equation. You can't compare these two places. I just wanted to add that. That's what I feel.
Yeah, we're not comparing them. Oxymoron was comparing them.
Yeah.
But wasn't it in the Constitution that the referendum is due for Kashmiris?
I think so. But I'm not sure about that, honestly.
No, Constitution says that it's integral part of India, the Indian Constitution.
Yeah, but it also promised them a referendum.
Yeah.
And then
the
Modi
Constitution of India came.
Or changed something about it.
No, so we gave them autonomy. So So the deal was that Kashmir becomes part of India, but India deals with defense, foreign affairs, and defense.
Yeah, but
The three
but
things.
this was
So
not. This
Kashmir
was
gets to
decided
have its
for.
own constitution
I know,
under
but this was
India.
decided for them rather than asking them. The right to self-determination was taken away from them.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, but
I don't
it's not
think
India's
that
fault.
well, we're not saying
It is.
I mean,
It is.
yeah.
I'm saying it is.
Okay, okay. Well, fair. I wasn't exactly saying that. I don't think fault is
It-
really like the issue.
It is
I think the
multiple
issue
people's
is
fault, including India's government.
sure, but like I think the issue at the end of the day is that the two situations aren't they're distinct enough that one of them doesn't seem to warrant the referendum, whereas one of them does. And part of that distinction, I think, is based on the forced, takeover of this land, right? That wasn't, yes, okay, maybe
So
there
would
were
it-
Pakistani elements that supported these things, but they didn't literally mobilize their troops like Russia.
So I would just like to weigh in a little. Kashmir did not call up its own army. Ukraine called up its own army and to fight against the Russian invasion. Kashmir could have called up its own army to fight against the
That's a fair point,
Pakistani
too.
militia force.
That's a fair point.
Whereas the Hindu leader asked, I'm not entirely sure who the king was. He asked for India to come in and help invade, but Zelensky didn't do that. Zelensky asked America for weapons, not for America boots on the ground.
It's a fair distinction.
That's good. Also, Zelensky is a representative of Ukrainian people. That
Yeah.
king was not.
Yeah. Don't normally vote for a
Okay,
king.
so the prime minister of Kashmir was. There was
Yeah,
elected
but
prime minister.
it was. Yeah,
who-
but the king was the person that decided that we belong to India. It was
Yeah.
that dude. It was the king, not.
Yeah, if the prime minister was just a
But the
figurehead, then it
prime
doesn't.
minister-
You can't say
no,
that was
it wasn't
truly what the
figurehead.
people
There was
wanted.
actual democracy in Kashmir.
No, but it was done because of the request of the king, of somebody who was not a representative of the Kashmiri people. It was that guy's request that made it all happen.
Okay,
But my
so
initial point is that there's an organic movement in Kashmir for the referendum, and that was never there in that area of Ukraine. I think that there's a big difference. You can't compare
It was-
those two things.
Yeah,
There are a few sympathizers, Russian sympathizers in that area of Ukraine, but there was never a mass movement for a referendum, like nowhere at the scale of Kashmir. So it's not
Yeah.
possible to compare these two things.
so how do you
it's clear
determine?
that it's clear that it seems like what happened to Kashmir joining India was not what the people of Kashmir wanted.
Okay, so India didn't want. So I wouldn't want Kashmir to join India if I was somebody who was in power at that time. But there's a huge difference between how the Kashmir issue is treated with Ukraine and the Russia, because the Crimea, it is 90% Russia.
It should be treated, oxymoron. It should be treated differently because
Yeah.
we're looking at the will of the people. We're looking at what Ukrainian people wanted and what Kashmiri people wanted, and that's why they should be treated differently.
So Russia did referendum right now. So it claims
Oh, Russia!
that the-
Russia! No, okay, oxymoron. You have lost all credibility if you trust any of Russia's referendum.
But you cannot
If you are citing Russian-held referendums, that you have lost
Yeah.
every credibility about what you're saying.
But how credible are Ukrainian referendums then?
Well, Ukrainian referendums often have third-party UN neutral observers. That's one of the best things you can do. There's literally an entire group of people that speak most of the languages in the world, that their whole job is just to fly to a different country and go watch the elections. So if you actively tell those people to fuck off and that you're not going to let them take part and watch and make sure that this is actually free and fair, which is what Putin enjoys doing. And then you've got, the other side, Zelensky and the Ukrainians that are like, please come in. We want you here. We actively are inviting you to our country to make sure we're having free and fair elections. Well, then there's just no comparison, right? There's just no comparison.
Guys, we hit the 2-hour mark, so we have to end the stream here. But thank you for everybody for joining. Gagin American, you want to have the last line? I see you open your microphone.
I was just gonna say that also millions of Ukrainians were forcibly depopulated from those regions. So can we
Kicked
trust
out,
the referendum?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
can
kick
we,
out
like, trust those
90% of the
people?
people, and then you ask, what do you want? And there's only 10% of the people left, and you kicked out the 90% that would say no. So, I mean, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for everybody. I can't believe we made it in 2 hours. We answered 20-something questions, and we brought you guys here and talk about these topics. Thank you for coming and joining us, and we will see you again soon. Oh, guys, make sure you like and
Thanks for having me.
subscribe. Thank you for coming. Make sure you recommend our channel to as many people as you can. Please leave a comment after the stream is over. Please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. And do not leave without liking. It literally doesn't cost you anything more than half a second. So like and all of that. Okay.
News in a couple days.
News in a couple days. So yeah, looking forward to in 2 days, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you for being here, and bye-bye. Mwah.